Hey, what's up, everyone? It's another BRAP rant. Haven't done one of these in a long time, but felt compelled to do so today because of some news that just hit social media, hit Twitter, really, and it has to do with um, some sexual harassment allegations against Naughty Dog and Sony, and a potential cover up as well. And if you haven't seen this yet, it's sort of trickling through the media. I think PlayStation for Life I think has an article about this already, and I'm sure we're going to probably see after this weekend, probably Monday, yeah, maybe even tomorrow. We'll probably see some other media outlets pick this up. But this is something that has just come up, and I'm just you know this is wow. This is bad. If these allegations are true, this is not good. Um, and I think in the wake of everything that's happened, and we know about Harvey Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein, and his oh geez, for those of you who don't know who he is, he's a big Hollywood producer, executive, and been behind a lot of big films, and um, is just embattled right now, and a lot of sexual assault allegations, and it's not good for him. And his wife has left him. I believe the Motion Picture Association or the Academy of Motion Pictures, whatever it is, has basically like decided to like remove him. And in Hollywood, this is I think I for me at least personally, when the whole Harvey Weinstein thing came out, it just it didn't surprise me with what you hear about with Hollywood with the whole casting couch and all that, but it's despicable. It really is. Um, and he's sorry now because he got caught, but perhaps that this allegation came out because of what happened in Hollywood more recently with Harvey Weinstein. Maybe that's why we're hearing about this now with the sexual assault or sexual harassment allegations of at Naughty Dog and Sony, and Sony potentially covering this up and offering a payout to the person who brought these allegations to the table. It's unfortunate if this is true, and I just I wanted to talk about it because it's like maybe we shouldn't be surprised to hear something like this. Um, I always look at video games as a place where you escape all the BS, all this stuff, and I guess we tend to forget that a lot of the people that work in the industry are humans, and humans by nature can be evil and do things that are you know that are just excuse me, just evil. And I'm just shocked by all this. And if it's true, it's a big black eye to Sony and Naughty Dog. Really, it really is. I mean, I know this is by the way, it's my dog barking in the background, so I apologize. She likes to bark at everyone that she sees walking across the window, or she can see out the window. So, for those of you who don't know, David Ballard, he's an artist. He was a designer. Um, and he did work at Naughty Dog, and he's saying in late 2000. Yeah, he tweeted this out today actually. So this just came out today, and this is why I'm doing this. Hey, what's up, Fastback and Mark? Thanks for joining us or joining me. Yeah, Fastback. I remember what Corey Feldman and Corey Haim came out and they talked about what happened in Hollywood years ago, how they were sexually harassed. We've heard about sexual molestation, stuff like that in Hollywood. Um, I just never, and I think a lot of us never really expect to hear this in the gaming industry, and we've heard this in not just Hollywood, but in music, in the music industry, and it's sickening. It's sickening. And now we're seeing men coming out of Hollywood. I think James Vanderbeek was more recently. Actually, him and Terry Crews came out more recently and said that they had been sexually harassed as well. What's going on, Jay? Jay Fonzarelli's in the house. Both those two actors came out, and I think Terry Crews said that somebody had grabbed his private parts, another man, and James Vanderbeek had said that he had been cornered and talked to in a way by another man that was sexually intimidating. And again, I'm actually paraphrasing that. Those weren't exactly his words. I'm just paraphrasing, but we see this in Hollywood. We see this in movies. We see this in the Hollywood movie industry. We see this in the record entertainment industry. The artist Kesha came out and said that her producer had sexually harassed her too. Jay Fonzarelli saying Rob Schneider has come out and said this too. I haven't seen that, Jay. If you could share that in the live chat, what he said, I would appreciate it. But now here we are. I mean, we're hearing these accusations by somebody in the industry, in the gaming industry, and it never dawned on me as someone as a fan of the industry. It just never dawned on me that this potentially is possible. And I've seen sexual harassment happen in the workplace. I've reported it. I've reported it before to HR. It's happened to me, believe it or not. There's a misconception that men can't be sexually harassed. They can. I've been harassed by women who I worked with, who I wasn't interested in, and them kind of and I've seen the other way where it's men harassing women as well. But so David Ballard, who came out and tweeted today, he says in late 2015, I was sexually harassed at Naughty Dog by a lead. My work environment became extremely toxic afterwards. He then goes on to say, in February 2016, he had a mental breakdown at work, and Sony PlayStation HR became involved. When I told them about the harassment, they ended the call and fired me the next day. They cited the company was moving in a different direction and my job was no longer needed. They tried to silence me by offering $20,000 if I signed a letter agreeing to the termination, as well as not to discuss it with anyone. I declined to sign. I've been employed for 17 months. When interviewers ask why I left Naughty Dog, I was burned out. I say I was burned out by the crunch, ashamed to get to the root of the problem of being sexually harassed. I'm speaking out now because of the strength I've seen in others coming forward about their experience in the TV film industry. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I would not let anyone kill my drive or love for the video game industry, my passion or life. So, this is this is very brave on his part to come out. And I think this is something that needs to be talked about. This is something that needs to be highlighted. And I guarantee, and I'm willing to bet. And again, I don't have any proof per se, but I'm willing to bet that this has happened in the video game industry on many occasions. He's probably not the only one. And I really, if these allegations are true, and again, I'm saying this because we don't know the whole story. I'm not, I'm not, I don't want to come out there and start condemning people. My personal opinion, based on David's comments, I'm on the side that leads that I'm on the side that basically this wouldn't surprise me. I'm not shocked. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if this was true. And it's just, and it made me think. It made me think about when he says, I tell people I was burned out. It makes you think about, Annie Henning's, reason for leaving Naughty Dog, which is more or less the same thing. And I'm not saying, again, guys, I'm not saying that she was, uh, sexually harassed in any way. But there's something going. There's a little bit of smoke here. That old saying, "Where there's smoke, there's fire." And it wouldn't surprise me if this is happening in this industry, the gaming industry. I think for a lot of us, we're fans of the gaming industry, and we don't think these things can happen because gaming is separate from reality per se, from the rest of the world. What's up, Wizland? Uh, it's separate from these things. Like gaming has been kind of that escape for us to get away from the harsh realities of the world that we live in. Wizland says, "I'm surprised it's taking this long." You know what, Wizland, I would agree with that. I would agree with that comment that you just made in the live chat. I'm surprised too, and I think that we're probably going to start hearing some more things come out. And you know what? If this is true, if Sony and Naughty Dog, if this gentleman went to them or went to Sony HR and Sony tried to pay him off and hush him up and fire him because he reported sexual harassment, shame on them. Shame on them. Seriously. And hopefully Sony comes out and comments on this soon. Because shame on them if this is true for covering it up. Seriously. If you're in human resources and you cover something up like this, shame on you. And the other thing I want to mention too, and the reason why I wanted to kind of get to this topic right away is because I don't want to see people start using this as ammo towards console wars. Because if you're going to use this, if you're going to use Sony covering up sexual harassment to fuel your ammunition towards console wars, you're a piece of dog poop. And I'm saying that politely, by the way. I'm not saying what I really want to say. Because there's some guys out there. There's some guys out there, the guys who like to pander towards a certain crowd just to get YouTube hits, who try to be, on the cutting edge or try to be shock jocks on YouTube. And they're going to use this and they're going to use it to get hits so they can make money on YouTube. If you're doing that, you're a piece of poop. You're a piece of poop. You're garbage. Jay Fonzarelli says maybe this will be the start of bringing down all the pedophiles and sexual predators who've been getting away with this shit for who knows how long now. Jay, I agree with that, man. And I not to get, not to I don't want to deviate. This podcast is a gaming podcast. And we're talking about this because this is something that just happened in the gaming industry. But to Jay's point, I think pedophilia is something in this country that's being swept under the rug. And for too long it has. And for too long, people have been victims of pedophilia, have been shamed or felt ashamed or felt nervous to come out and call out the people that had abused them and they shouldn't, and they shouldn't, and these things need to be brought to light. I mean, outside of the gaming industry, these are things that need to be brought to light. I mean, and I say this because I have kids, I have children, I have 3 children, I have 2 boys and a daughter, and as a parent, it would pain me to have something like this happen to them, and for them to feel like they couldn't come out and talk about it. You know, we all know about the whole Penn State debacle. Jerry Sandusky. Now his son's been convicted of pedophilia. You know, and now um, there's things out there saying that Joe Paterno knew about, some of Sandusky's pedophilia as far as 30 years ago. These are things that can't be swept under the rug. Whether it's sexual harassment, pedophilia, these are things that need to be talked about. And so look, I don't know, and I don't claim to know the whole story between Naughty Dog and David Ballard, but for him to come out and say this, if this is true, very brave on him. And if others at Naughty Dog have experienced this, I'd encourage you guys to come out too and talk about this, because this is going to make the industry better when you talk about things like this. Fuck company loyalty. Obviously, loyalty to a company didn't really pay dividends for this gentleman. If this is true, but this is just it's really sad if this is true. I mean, it just I guess me. Maybe just I think about the gaming industry. I just don't think that things like this can happen because it's gaming. It's the one place I go to escape from all the crazy shit that we see in the world. And here we are. Here we are. And I just don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss of words, guys. I really am. Wizland and Live Chat said it's sad to think that this isn't going to do anything, right? I really, people need to come out. People need to come out. And I know that, you know, maybe it's tough. Maybe, it's easy for us who haven't been victims of sexual harassment or pedophilia to sit there and say, it's easy for us to sit there and say, oh, we'll come out, because we haven't been in the shoes of those victims. But they should. I mean, they should, because you got to believe in this case that the gaming community will support this gentleman for coming out, and this is something that needs to be talked about. That we can't sweep this under the rug. There's too much to lose here. There's too much to lose here, and I mean, if Sony did cover this up, heads need a roll. Heads need a roll. There needs to be accountability here, and this doesn't look good for Sony or Naughty Dog. This doesn't look good for them. It really doesn't. Sorry, guys, my dog keeps barking. Um, I don't know what to say. I was shocked. I was shocked. I read this. I'm out and about, and I see this, and I'm like, what? What is going on? Like, what? What? This is gaming. But this is something that needs to be addressed. This is something, and David Ballard. I know you probably don't listen to Brad, but you were very brave for coming out and addressing this. You really are. So thank you. But I really want to. I really want to reinforce something. Those who are involved in console wars, don't use this as console war ammo against Sony Naughty Dog. Seriously, if you do, you really need to reevaluate your moral compass because you are not a good person. And I'm sorry, you're not a good person if you use this to fuel YouTube hits and console wars. And I hate to say this, there's some dirtbags out there that are going to use this to fuel console wars or to fuel console wars to get YouTube hits. And that's sickening. That is sickening. And everyone in the live chat is saying, Jay Fonzarelli said, they will, brother. Chicken Spaghetti saying, they're going to do it always anyways, Enrique. I hope that's not the case. And you know what, guys? If we see this stuff, we need to call it out. Seriously. Because enough. I mean, that's taking console wars to just a level that is really effed up. That we really don't. We can't go there. We see this stuff. We got to call it out. Seriously, we have to call it out. Because it's sickening if anyone tries to use this as ammunition for the console wars. And I tell you what, you use this as ammunition for the console wars. You're in my book. You got problems. You got issues. You lack a certain level. You lack integrity. You lack character. But I really hope that we hear more about this. I really do, and I hope, and I encourage anyone who, I know there's some people in the industry that listen to this podcast. If you know people that have experiences, encourage them to come out and talk about it, because that's the only way that things are going to change. When you take away that power of that person who's harmed you, you know. Chicken Spaghetti says, if I was in charge of Sony and an employee at Naughty Dog brought this to my attention, I'd halt all game development for Naughty Dog until the situation was solved and fire the offender. Yeah, I mean that's, again, Chicken. We don't know all the facts, but if this is true, if this did happen, yeah, I mean that would seem like the right thing to do. And I'm not so sure about halting any game development, because I'm not so sure if you want to punish everyone who may not be aware of what's going on or may not be involved, the collective team, but punish the individual who did it. Punish the individual that did this. It's just, I get the sinking feeling that we're probably going to start hearing more about this. I really do. And I hope, again, I really encourage those who have had this happen to come out and say something. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's the only way things are going to change. That's the only way things are going to change. I'm honestly, folks, I'm still shocked by this. I didn't expect to be doing a BRAP rant about this. It's just, I'm just blown away. Just blown away. Yeah, and so now I'm starting to see more articles now. Um, so Jay Fonz running live chat says, but if others knew about this harassment and did nothing, they must be punished in some way as well. Yeah, I think there needs to be some accountability there too, Jay. If they knew about harassment and didn't speak up about it, there's probably something that, yeah, there should be some accountability there. I agree with that. So now, yeah, now we're starting to see this. We're starting to see. Um, I'm starting to see more outlets talk about this. I mean, this is not good. Sony needs to talk about this soon. They need to address this soon. And you know what really kills me about companies is that companies get lost in their own. I think sometimes companies think they're untouchable. And if you're Sony, right? Let's say this thing. We find out this is 110% factual. This happened. They offered 20,000. Why would you think this never would come out? Like, come on. How many times have we seen stuff like this come out? Especially, like, come on. And why would you think it wouldn't come out, Sony? If I mean, like, this is just mind blowing. It's just this is mind blowing, man. This is just mind blowing to me. This is mind blowing. This is. We're gonna hear more about this. I think. I really do. I think we're gonna hear more about this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we hear more people come out and talk about this, as they should, as they should. You know. So I think chicken spaghetti says, "Give me hush money." I'm still telling on them. Yeah, I hear you, man. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't. I don't understand how you think this is going to come out like in your favor. And look, companies will make people sign contracts saying we'll give you a severance so long as you sign this because you won't get. And basically, what they're doing is they're saying you can't come after us legally. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it in the industry I work in. But again, I just want to reiterate something. Please, people, don't use this for console wars. Seriously. That's why I wanted to make this video too, because I think unfortunately some people are going to try to capitalize on this, and that's just a dirtbag thing to do. It really is. Just like it's a dirtbag thing to do to harass somebody at work, intimidate them, and then try paying them off for their silence because you did something wrong. You did something that was illegal. That's not good. So we'll probably I would imagine we'll probably hear something next couple days. You got to believe that Sony is going to um, probably put out a statement. You would imagine they need to probably sooner than later, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Jay Fonzarelli says it's sad, man. What an ugly world we live in. It's getting hard to go through a day without some terrible news hitting somewhere. Yeah, I mean, Jay, I think that's true. I think, but I think in today's world we live in, we're so, um, we because of social media. I mean, we have access to content or to news so uh, much more quickly than we did in the past. I mean, and I think that's probably why it feels like We hear about these things more, but I don't think these are things that are new. Um, these are things that have been going on for a long time. I think we hear about them more because we're connected now. And furthermore, because we're connected, we need to talk about these things to get the word out. We really do. But this is just, I'm still, guys, I'm still shocked. I'm just shaking my head right now. I just can't believe that. I shouldn't say I can't believe. I mean, shit. With all the with everything that's going on, it's just. I guess I can't be surprised. Digital Tiger 77 says, "What does this have to do with gaming and you being a video gamer?" Okay. Um, this is real life shit, Digital. This is beyond video gaming. I mean, I want you to think about what you just said. What do you think about this for a second? This isn't about. This could potentially be a problem in the video game industry. And I don't know why you would sit there and say, what does this have to do with gaming? It has everything to do with gaming. Just like it has everything to do with the movie industry. Because there could be there could be this culture, a pervasive culture of harassment in that industry that we don't know about. Where people are working in conditions where they're getting sexually harassed. That's not okay. Does it personally affect me? No. But as a human digital tiger, because that's what we are, we're humans. It has everything to do with gaming. It has everything to do with that moral compass that we have. You know, and from a development standpoint in gaming, I mean, if you're working in an environment that's hostile, that can ultimately impact the team, the game developers. So indirectly, this does have an impact. Or I should say directly does. Digital, I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. Digital, he says you shouldn't let this bother you. This is the world we live in, unfortunately. You know what? I'm sorry. I know this is the world that we live in, but I'm not just gonna roll over and just keep my mouth shut. I'm sorry. That's a I don't have that. To me, I'm sorry. That's a loser's mentality, and I don't have that mentality. And just because these are things that are happen, doesn't mean that we should just turn a blind eye. No, we should call these things out. We're humans. We should care for our fellow brothers and sisters. We should. I understand this is the world we live in. It doesn't make it right. You know what? And yeah, do things that make you happy. You're right. I do things that make me happy, and I can't control humans. But what we can do, we can talk about things. We can bring to light issues where people collectively come together and do things about it. This isn't like, and this is the problem. This is the problem with things like this. People want to sweep things under the rug and say, "Oh, it's out of my control. I can't do anything." That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It is within your control because when we get together and we voice our opinion, and look, and digital tiger history shows us when humans get together collectively as groups. We look at the civil rights movement in the 1960s, 1950s, 1960s. What if people took that attitude of, hey, you know what? It's out of our control. I'm just going to do what makes me happy. Yeah, well, digital. Look, yeah, we live in a world where Trump is president. Yes, he's president. We can't do anything about it. We can next election when we vote, but we just can't turn a blind eye. You just can't throw up your hand and say, "Ah, you know what? I can't do anything." No, you can. You absolutely can by bringing things to the surface, by talking about things. And this is the problem that I like. I just don't understand that mentality. And I'm not. By the way, digital. I'm not trying to pick on you. I just don't understand that mentality of oh well, that's how the world is, so I can't change anything. That's not true. Like we're not. We can change things when people have a voice. When people come together and voice their displeasure, things can change. I'll go back to the video game industry. I'll take it back to the gaming industry. Remember the whole Microsoft DRM thing? The gaming community spoke out and they said, no, we're not doing that, Microsoft. And Microsoft changed their approach with the Xbox One console. Chicken Spaghetti says, people together sharing and voicing their thoughts on a subject can make a change, a big change. They can. Absolutely, they can. They really can. And Chicken, that is a great point. I mean, there's so many examples of that in history where people have collectively got together, people of different races, different ethnic backgrounds have come together and made their voices heard for a common cause. Astro Gaming said there needs to be an investigation. People need to be held accountable. This is not acceptable. I agree with you, man. Ash, I agree with you 110%. We don't know all the facts. That's why I keep referring to this as the allegations of sexual harassment and cover up against Sony and Naughty Dog by somebody who used to work there, because we don't know the facts. But there needs to be some investigation. And now that it's public, there needs to be something. Sony needs to talk about this. Sony needs to address this. You know, and guys, this isn't, again, people, this isn't about console wars. I don't want anyone to think, oh yeah, go after Sony, get them. You know, this isn't about that. This is bigger than that. It's about looking out for your fellow brother, your fellow sister. It's about humanity, the one thing that binds us together. It's bigger than gaming. I don't mean to get my soapbox and start preaching, because and that's what it sounds like. But I'm being serious. I mean, we can't you can't take the attitude of, oh well, you can't do anything. No, it's not. We can. We really can. I just I'm sure what we're going to hear some stuff in the next couple of days, especially as the media starts catching on more. You know, I stuff like this happens. It makes you think about the gaming community, right? Makes you think about So we had a special edition of BRAP last night. We talked about the loot boxes and everything, and sometimes I really wish the gaming community would understand that we're all gamers, and this nonsense of console wars and arguing over pieces of plastic is ridiculous, especially in the grand scheme of things when there's so many other things that we could potentially be focusing our energy on, and this is one of them. This is one of them. So let's not lose sight of that. Like, let's not put the pettiness aside. This is like one of those moments where life kind of slaps you on the face and makes you think about what's important. So, I mean, that's just me, my soapbox right now. Jay, I know you love the loot box conversation yesterday. But you know what? I'll say this, Jay. I appreciate your thoughts, your input on this. Um, we just all apparently look, we just had a difference. All of us had a difference of opinion on the show yesterday. Stick figure says just woke up. The loot box is still going. No, it's not. We're not talking about loot boxes right now. Just brought this up, but um, we're talking about the alleged sexual harassment at Naughty Dog that was covered up by Sony. So, but yeah, this stuff, man, this stuff. I mean, the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, and I think that's a big reason why this came out this weekend. And good. I mean, seriously, like, and outside of video games, good for these people that came out and talked about this. Because enough's enough. Like, you can't. Weinstein comes out and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for this." No, you're not fucking sorry. You're sorry because you got caught. If you're sorry, you would have stopped doing this a long time ago. You would have realized you have a problem, and you would have stopped. But you didn't. Hey, digital. It's all about loot boxes, man. It's all about loot boxes. So, well, look. I just want to do this quick rant because this is something that just came out, and it's a serious thing. I mean, it really is. These are serious allegations that shouldn't be taken lightly. They really shouldn't. So, I mean, yeah, Jay. I mean, look what Corey Haim. I mean, it's just it hurt him. Probably a reason why he, kind of went into that. Yeah. Actually, Jay, I was about to say that. Like, he went to that dark place in his life. You look at the lead singer from Linkin Park. I mean, he was sexually abused. And I mean, this is serious stuff, people. It really is. And it, I try and get all, on my soapbox and righteous here, but these are things that need to be talked about more. As a society, we just can't sweep these things under the rug. There's too much at stake here. People's lives are at stake. People's mental well-beings are at stake. There's too much. Too much at stake. So, on that note, everyone, I just want to thank everyone in the live chat for joining me in this impromptu BRAP rant. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Digital Tiger says the president participated in sexual harassment and he still got elected. Yes, he did. That is a point of contention for me. Yes, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. Jeez, and that's a problem. I think that probably speaks to a bigger issue when it comes to sexual harassment. That people will sweep things like this under the table for the sake of being right, or for the sake of supporting a political ideology. I mean, it's got to stop. Morals. Morals. On that note, I just want to thank everyone again for joining me tonight for this impromptu BRAP rant. I appreciate it. Jay Fonzarelli, Chicken Spaghetti, Digital Tiger, Stick Figure just woke up. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, give us a sub. Give us a sub and hit the like button. Leave a comment in the comment section below. We appreciate it. Yeah, Digital, it's not getting me down. I'm going to enjoy my Saturday regardless. I'm going to play some Destiny, drink some margaritas. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So, handling Ella says, how does a man get sexually assaulted? Dude, it happens, man. It happens by other men. I've been sexually harassed at work by women before. You know, I had one of my coworkers grab my junk at the lunch table in our office. We had a break room. She grabbed my junk. I mean, I'm not even making that up. I mean, this shit is true. It happens. We may process it differently, but the action's still the same. Or I should say, we may or may not process it differently, but it's still the same. It's unwarranted. It happens. It happens. I mean, this conception that it can't happen to men is untrue. It can. And Jay, you're right. Jay, you were absolutely right in that regard. We hear stories about it. I mean, Terry Crews just came out. James Vanderbeek, Rob Schneider. You mentioned Rob Schneider. I mean, yeah. So, all right, everyone. I just want to just thank everyone again in the live chat. Seriously, for joining me today. And hey, we're gonna be back on next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, stick. That's aggressive. I don't. Your mate's mom grabbed your junk. That's aggressive, dude. Jesus. All right. So again, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you guys. Seriously, thank you guys for taking time out of your day to come listen to this rant. And hopefully we get some more clarification on this, because this is something serious. So remember, we'll be back next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And everyone, please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Play some video games. There's tons of video games to play. And on that note, we'll see you guys on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.